Alrighty, so we have just finished up the reveal live stream for the collab, and we were just watching it on stream and everything. If you want to be part of the stream next time, feel free to subscribe, come hang out with us sometime. But we're going to be doing sort of like the recap, just in case you weren't there, or maybe you had something else going on, whatever the case may be. But we obviously have the new Tower of God collab. We have 3 new characters, which is kind of interesting. They're not doing 4 like they normally do. Another thing to note is that we're actually not getting a free character, which is a bit unfortunate, of course. It would be really nice if we were, but normally they give out a free character that's a PvE character with each collab, but we are getting a PvE character this time, but we're not getting them for free, which is a bit disappointing, I gotta say. So either way, let's look really quickly at the animations here for the new, or well, I think it's just the ultimate like reveal for the main character here. I think his name's Jyu or Jyu. I'm not 100% sure how to say it because I'm not familiar with this this collab too much, but he seems pretty cool. Seems pretty like water-based, I guess. I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't think they, or well, they did show a little bit of gameplay with a final boss that they did, where they showed him and the woman that we're actually getting, and they were okay. They seemed pretty all right. But the main big ticket item was the green character. I think his name is Data. So let's look at the girl's ultimate animation really quickly. Here we go. So I actually really like her ultimate animation. She's got this really cool looking sword, and it almost looks like she uses it kind of like as a sniper, which is pretty cool. So boom, yeah, pretty neat. I mean, pretty minimal as far as like ultimate animations go, but I guess it is what it is. And then we have, I think his name is Data last. So let's look at. Okay, so here is Data's. His is actually really cool. He does like this, I don't know if this is supposed to be like the solar system. I assume it is. But very cool looking animation. Very reminiscent of like the one Ultimate or even the new Melee kinda. With like throwing like a big AoE sort of like bomb thing down. So that's pretty cool. The new characters themselves are pretty interesting. He is of course the main character. He is PvE only. We will look at some of the translations in just a minute, but he has a debuff skill and a buff skill. The girl is double attack, and she works in everything. From my understanding, people were telling me that she is supposed to be human-based, which she's a human, he is a human, and then, okay, so Zahard is actually an unknown character, which they did run him on an unknown, or Data, not Zahard. I don't know. The names in this collab are really confusing to me, but it's mainly just because I'm not familiar with them enough. But he is unknown. They did run him on the unknown team in the PvP that they did. It was a little weird because the PvP that they showed off was like the absolute perfect case scenario for Data, because they insta-merge right here into a level 2 single target. They're running Gother on the team for rank ups. So they literally, all they have to do is rank up, get his card to a level 3. You can see that they survive the melee attacks and everything, but turn 1, melee doesn't do like insane damage to begin with. You're kind of wanting him to get all creation. So they rank up here, they get a level 3 Zahard, or Data card. They use that single target on King. You can see it does 1,000,000 damage basically, which is, you know, that's very good, but obviously that's perfect case scenario with a level 3 card turn 1. You're not always going to have level 3 cards or anything. And then they top deck a level 2 rank up literally second turn. So now all they have to do is get, you know, use that, and then they have a level 3 of his AoE skill, which I'm pretty sure is a spike card. They do some pretty good damage to him. You can see that melee, he actually did not have all creation yet, so he like survives with just a little bit of HP left, which I think is also another perfect case scenario, because from my understanding, he's supposed to, like, he has more crit the lower his HP is. So you can see he has a spike card right here, I'm pretty sure, and he does 3,000,000 damage with an AoE skill. So although that is incredibly impressive for damage and everything, I do think that you should take that with a grain of salt, because that is like literally perfect case scenario. He was almost dead, so he has a max part of his passive, I assume. He gets like the perfect rank ups and stuff like that, so he can use level 3 cards. It's a bit odd. I don't know. Like, I think people might end up taking that a little bit, you know, out of context maybe. The banner itself looks pretty cool too. They actually have some good units in here. So they have Blue Roxy, Red Tyr, of course. They have Red Freya in here. They also have Red Magelda and a couple more like niche characters that aren't on like a ton of banners. And then they have a bunch of like catastrophes, and for some reason Zaratros is here, so that's cool, I guess. The fact that it is only 3 characters means that you might not have to spend as many gems, you know, to get 4 brand new characters. But then again, you know, normally you don't really have to worry too much about one of them because they give one out for free, but there's not a free one this time. But they are actually giving out a bunch of free multis and stuff. There's a login event that they're doing where you're actually going to get 3 free multis worth of tickets on days 1 and 2, along with, I think this is supposed to be 70 gems or something like that, or maybe it's 70 gems throughout the whole collab. They showed off an infographic for it. But you also get a 4th multis worth of tickets from the special missions, and then a level 90 token instead of a free character. So a bit disappointing that we don't get a free unit, but I guess it is what it is. They're down a character on the collab anyway. Shout out to Durs. He actually posted some translations in my Discord here, so we're just going to go over those. So we have Jyu Viole Grace, or Jyu Viole Grace. I'm not 100% sure how to say that name, but he is the main character. He's the very first one that we've seen. He is the PvE character, so he is a red human. His first skill is for 3 turns. This is at level 3, I think. So for 3 turns, reduce a single enemy's defense-related stats by 40% and deal damage equal to 300% of attack. So defense-related stat lower, that's obviously going to help you do more damage. He also has his second skill, which is a buff skill, removes debuff effects from all allies, increases their basic stats by 30%, and nullifies debuffs for 3 turns. So a very typical sort of basic stat increase card where you're going to cleanse with it, you're going to increase basic stats, and you're going to get debuff immunity. So pretty typical stuff. I would say that's very on par with like Kizuna, for example. I do think that he actually could be pretty nice for Demon King, the game mode, because you might be able to replace Gowther with him, because I'm pretty sure there's a rank up part in his passive, and because he has a debuff card and a buff card, he kind of fits the same role as Gowther does. So his special move is his ultimate, deals cutting damage, which I think, okay, so critical rate increased by 3 times, so that's just sever. Deals sever damage equal to 945% of attack to a single enemy, and grants you the power of thorns for 2 turns. So power of thorns is a new thing, which it looks like it is damage dealt by allies is increased by 20%, and damage received is minus 20%. So it's okay, kind of cool, I guess. His passive is, at the start of the battle in PvE only, he is a PvE character, grants the power of thorns to yourself for 2 turns, and then the power of thorns, or when the power of thorns is removed, remove all debuff effects on allies and rank up your skills. So I'm not sure if that's allies' skills or if it's just his, actually. That could be a definite factor there. We'll probably see tomorrow when the characters come out for JP and everything, and they get tested a little bit more. But also, once the Power of Thorns is removed, it will increase the basic stats of your allies by 20%. So a basic stat increase is kind of nice. His Sacred Treasure, or his Holy Relic, increases status-related buff effects on allies by 1.5 times in PvE. So if you're familiar with the Valentine's Day Elaine that we have, she's like a backliner that you can use for demon enemy, or like demon raids or whatever. It's basically the same thing as her passive, where you're basically just all of your buff effects are going to have a little bit more of an increase to them, which is kind of cool. So pretty neat. I'm interested to see if this is like an all rank up or if it's just his skills that get ranked up. But yeah, if it is like all of your allies like get ranked up, I think he's the perfect replacement for Gowther on the team, and he'll probably do a lot more, considering that Gowther's attack card, his debuff or whatever, his attack seal is not going to do a whole lot of damage. So we now have Yuri Zahard, which is the woman, blue human. First skill is releases a single target enemy's stance and deals damage equal to 500% of attack power, so she has a stance cancel. The second skill is removes buff effects and stances from all enemies and inflicts 210% of attack power. So I'm assuming this is a buff removal, and then it'll probably stance cancel on level 3 if I had to guess. So I don't really, like, the demon team doesn't really use stances. I guess like sometimes you run into Deanne's on the Sins team, And then maybe with the new data character coming out, the unknown characters could be kind of annoying. So having a stance cancel for the whatchamacallit, the Albedo could be kind of nice there, but kind of a weird set of skills, to be honest. Special move is, for 4 turns, inflicts 3 pieces of Rose Divine Water on a single enemy and inflicts, this is cleave damage equal to 750% of attack power without critical hits. So I don't know what that effect is. Rose Divine Water is damage dealt is minus 10%, can be stacked up to 3 times. So inflicts 3 of those. I'm assuming this is at 6/6. So it'll lower the enemy's damage dealt by 30% at max level. So I guess that's all right. It's a single target ult, same as his. Like they're both single targets, that is. So not incredibly impressive, but could be kind of good, I guess. Passive is, for each human ally participating in battle, the basic stats of the human allies will increase by 5%, so that's 15, just like Shin's, okay. And the human allies will receive damage. Human allies will receive damage when you use a skill or when the enemy uses a skill on the enemy's turn. What? If you receive it, you will be given Divine Rose Water to that enemy for 4 turns, and if you use a skill on an enemy that has the maximum stack of Divine Rose Water, you will be unable to use all skills for 1 turn. Give. Okay, so this is obviously translated very poorly, but I think you're getting a 15% basic stat increase if you're running humans, of course, because they're on the field. And then I think it's just like if you deal damage to an enemy or if they deal damage to you as well, maybe, they gain a stack of Rose Water. And then if they have max stacks of Rose Water, which is 3, you are going to lock their skills for a turn. Unable to use all skills for 1 turn. So that actually seems kind of strong. I'm not 100%. She's definitely very supporty. I would assume she's just going to go straight HP defense if I had to guess. But could be kind of nice. You're going to be making them deal less damage to you. You're going to be increasing basic stats, and you're going to be locking down their skills and stuff like that, depending on stacks that you end up putting on, which is pretty interesting. Her Holy Relic is also very helpful for tanking. Allies' critical resistance and critical defense are increased by 30%. So that's just a flat-out increase. So they're just going to be more tanky as far as like you're not going to be able to crit them and everything. Kind of an interesting character. Definitely very supporty. HP defense for sure, as far as I'm concerned. And then last up we have Data, who is pretty insane. He was the one that we saw the PvP for just a second ago. He is a green unknown race character. His first skill is deals light spear damage, which, what even is light spear damage? There is so many different effects to his passive, by the way. His whole passive was like blue, with like skill effects whenever they were showing it off. Is Light Spear even on here? What am I looking at here? Oh, Light Spear is right here. Penetration rate increased. Okay, so it's kind of like a Pierce card. Deals Light Spear damage equal to 450% of attack on a single enemy. Okay. Oh, it's a triple Pierce rate card, and then when using the skill, own attack power is plus 40%. Okay, so it's just kind of like a better Pierce card. Haven't we had something kind of like this? Didn't another character have like an improved Pierce card not that long ago? I'm blanking on that. But skill 2 is deals fatal damage equal to 250% of attack on all enemies, and fatal is just spike, so critical damage is increased by 2 times. So spike damage to the enemy. His ultimate is gives yourself a 150% critical damage increase effect for 2 turns, inflicts 500% of your attack power in cutting damage, which I think that was sever, right? Yeah, critical crit rate is increased by 3 times. So sever damage to all enemies and gives you immortality for 1 turn. So his health can't drop below 1. So 1 turn immortality is really not that bad. You're going to have to ult rush to get this off anyway, and more than likely this is going to wipe them if I had to guess. So probably won't even have to worry about the immortality thing being like a big factor here, but kind of interesting. His passive is very long, so let's try to see if we can, even if this is, I don't know, translated correctly. At the start of the battle, give yourself a proof of stability effect for 1 turn. And when it is cancelled, give yourself the power of divine water effect for 1 turn. When the power of divine water effect is cancelled, you will be given the King's Decision effect for 5 turns. Also, for each ally of unknown race participating in battle, your basic stats will increase by 7%. So he's going to get, what, a 21% increase in basic stats? Proof of stability is damage received by unknown allies is minus 30%, so that is pretty crazy. That's going to make Albedo tank a bit harder if you're using her. Power of Divine Water is HP does not fall below 1. Disables enemy critical resistance and critical defense when using a skill attack. Ooh, okay, so that's kind of interesting. So when do you gain Proof of Divine Water or whatever? Give yourself Proof of Stability effect for 1 turn. When it is cancelled, give yourself a Power of Divine Water effect for 1 turn. So basically like every other turn, maybe? Or is this just for the first 2 turns? I'm not too sure. So you're going to gain immortality for a turn after that. That's kind of insane, actually. King's Decision is increases critical damage by 1% for every 1% of HP. So I'm not sure if that's HP missing or not, but I thought that whenever people were talking about it in stream that it was going to be HP missing, so I'm not 100% sure actually. Maybe he would have actually done more in that PvP showcase if he would have had more HP. I'm not actually sure on that. Decreases critical rate by decreased critical rate plus 100% when using general attack skills. Damage increased by rank when using skills. So he has this part where he does 30% damage or 30% extra on a level 1 skill, 60 or 600. This has got to be wrong. 60% maybe on a level 2 skill, and then 120% on a 3 skill. I think is what it's supposed to be. I don't know. This passive is incredibly confusing. If you can discern more than that, maybe like write that maybe better for me if you can. But I don't know. He's pretty strong. There's a lot going on here, of course. But he is a bit selfish. He's not like boosting your allies or anything like that. But he seems like a pretty crazy DPS kind of character, so that could be kind of interesting. His Holy Relic is every time the Proof of Stability effect, the Power of Divine Water effect, or the King's Decision effect on you is cancelled, all debuff effects on you are cancelled. So I'm assuming these are all blue buffs, I guess. He's going to have blue immortality, which is kind of interesting. But if you cancel any of them, you are going to cleanse yourself. So that's kind of cool, I guess. So not insanely strong or anything, but his passive seems kind of strong in the first place. So very, very interesting characters that we have here. I think that the female characters may be the weakest out of the 3, which I guess the first character is also a PvE only character. So that probably just inherently makes him probably the weakest. But I do think that all of them are pretty interesting. We'll have to see kind of how it sort of progresses and everything. We should be getting the collab tomorrow on JP and KR, so we should be seeing some gameplay from the JP content creators and stuff like that. Pretty soon we'll actually get to see some actual like gameplay, see how they actually look on the field instead of just their sort of catered showcases and everything. But there are a couple of cool events and stuff. They have a final boss, they have a spin event, they have a new Tower of Trials here for us, and there's even a True Awakening coin in there, which is kind of cool. Some pretty decent rewards. They're bringing Chaos PvP back as well. Obviously there's new outfits and everything. I think the outfits are actually pretty cool. This guy's outfits are okay. I don't think they're too bad. The girl's outfits are actually pretty cool. I do like all of her outfits, but this guy, Data, he got the really good outfits. I think all of his stuff is really cool. He got the really cool ultimate animation, really cool outfits. There's a Diamond Payback event as well. King Exchange event, of course. We're just kind of skimming over this. There is a new Hawk Pass outfit for the new Meliodas, the new God Meliodas. He has like a riot gear outfit, which is kind of weird, as well as a couple of like small changes here and there. But that is pretty much it. I'll go over the patch notes in their entirety whenever the characters come out and stuff on Global. So we will definitely be going over that stuff in detail. But the banner looks pretty good. The characters look pretty good. A bit unfortunate that there's no free unit, of course. So we'll have to kind of see how they look and everything tomorrow. But yeah, I think so far they actually look like they're worth having for sure. Definitely interested to summon and try them out for myself. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. And it was a little bit of a long one, but you know, translations and stuff. You know, I don't know. It's kind of hard to understand some of this stuff as well. So I'm sure it'll be more worth it to just kind of mess around with the characters whenever they come out. But either way, have a great day. Enjoy. See you tomorrow.